Absolutely thrilled to be joined now. You know, normally when I intro these, I always say one of the best this, that, and the other in the game. One of this, that, and the other. No. I'm thrilled to be joined by the best running back duo in the NFL, Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery of the Detroit Lions. What's going on, guys?
I'm chilling.
Cool and just making our runs.
Yeah, you guys, I'm sure, have done a lot of these. You're here on behalf of Bounty. Tell me what you got going on.
Yeah. So me and Jahmyr are obviously partnered with Bounty. You know, when you got a mess, you know who to go to when you need to get it cleaned up. You can't have football without wings.
You can't have wings without bounty.
Boom. That was silky smooth delivery by both of you guys. So, yeah, you are the wingmen here on behalf of Bounty. David, I'm going to throw this one to you guys, to you first. What's the first memory you have of Jahmyr Gibbs' skill set that kind of stood out to you and just made you stop and be like, oh, this guy might be special?
I mean, I always knew. I mean, I watched him a little bit, like, in college, like on his last year when he came out. But that's honestly not what struck me the most about, like, nothing against his skill, but, like, I wasn't really paying attention to his skill as much as who he was.
Sure.
So when he first got there, I thought he was like a stuck-up kid.
Oh.
Because he came out to practice. He didn't practice with the rookies. He came out, and he had on, like, regular clothes. He didn't have team issue gear, and he had jewelry on. I'm like, it's going to be one of them guys, but he's not that at all. I love this dude.
When did that impression kind of change for you then?
When I actually talked to him and realized how goofy he was, like, he's a real cool kid.
Jahmyr, it's a don't judge the book by the cover type situation.
Yeah, I didn't know, though. I just came – he said go out here, so I was like, okay. So I just went out.
He dancing. Everything on him danced. I'm like, oh, this guy.
I feel you. Well, all right, that's an interesting one. Jahmyr, for you, what's something that you kind of learned from David maybe early on?
I mean, probably the same thing. Not that stuck up, but, you know, when you're a rookie and you hear about the league, they talk about, like, how there's not really, like, no friends in the league and, like, how everybody's, like, fighting for a job and stuff. So I didn't know how people were going to be. And then when I started talking to, David and all the backs, everybody was cool and we all got along. We're all goofy. And it's just like, it's like a perfect fit for all of us. So it's really good being in that room. So.
Yeah, it feels like watching you guys, I mean, you kind of seem to build off of each other. And, like, your skill sets complement, but at the same time, I would say that, you want to throw Jahmyr Gibbs on third down, you can do that. You want to throw David Montgomery out there on third down, you can do that. You want to run gap scheme, zone scheme, you guys can do a little bit of everything. How important is that, Jahmyr, to have a guy that can fill in for you at any time, at any moment?
We both complement each other very, very well. And having two people that can do everything, I mean, it's hard for the defense to say when this guy's in, he's going to do this, or when this guy's in, he's going to do that. So having, both of us being able to do everything is really good. So.
Is that something that you've had in your career before, or is this more of like a first-time thing, Dave?
Nah, I mean, I've always been around, like, I was blessed enough to be around, like, I don't know if you remember his name, Tariq Cohen.
Yep.
Cohen?
Oh yeah, Tariq Cohen.
Tariq can do everything.
He was an electric player.
Yeah. He was a dog. So just being around him, but like kind of when Tariq left, I'm saying it kind of got to being the same. But when I got here and I was with John, I partnered up. I'm like, yeah, like us together, we'll be unstoppable, and we want to go down as the best running back duo to ever do it. So we still got some hills to climb, but we know we'll be able to do it.
Well, I mean, I think you're well on your way. Like I said, certainly the best right now doing it, that's for sure. I used to do a show with Austin Eckler, and he always used to tell me that he really valued that, like, second pitch to, as fantasy folks, like, we all want to see one running back get the touches, right? Or I'm not putting myself in that bucket, but people do this, right? Like, just give this guy all the touches, that guy all the touches. But Jahmyr, this stood out to me after the Week 18 game when obviously David wasn't playing. I think the NBC crew told you, like, how many touches you had, and you're like, whew, that's a lot. Like, does it really help you in game to kind of have like that stamina when another guy is there?
I mean, I feel like I could hit like a big number of yards or whatever.
Sure.
Any amount of touches for me personally. So I don't really be too worried about 25 touches, 20 touches. As long as I make the most of my opportunities, then I'm good, and I know that. So.
Yeah. Efficiency over volume and everything like that, 100%.
Yeah.
I think one of the stories of the season this year, guys, is these high-end elite running back talents like Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry, going to new teams and really taking these already great rushing ecosystems and like weaponizing them, taking them to the next level. Obviously, Saquon's here in the Super Bowl. But I feel like you guys actually probably were the ones that started that. Like the Lions had a good run game before you two got there, but then it's certainly gone to the next level, I think, with you two there in Detroit. David, what makes the Detroit ecosystem so good?
You know, I know being under Coach Campbell's everybody else calls him Dan's regime. I think us understanding like what kind of guy he is and the grittiness that he brings to the game. He also understands like hand-picking the guys that he decides to bring in the locker room. And our character is very high. Like he's not bringing in no culture vultures. Like that's not what we're here for. That's not what he's here to do. And you know, me and Jahmyr kind of being a part of it and seeing it and knowing that we can, you know, be there to help as much as we can. I think it makes everything so much easier. And I'm just excited that we're able to be a part of it.
And them boys up front, they get to moving.
Yeah, for sure.
they get to
the
moving.
best line in the league. No disrespect to nobody else.
No, 100%. It's a great offensive line. And for me, the receiver position is the one that I focus the most on. And obviously, you know, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
We got the best in the league there, too.
That's a great group, but one thing that definitely stands out to me is, like, those guys block their asses off, too, and that's huge to rip off those long runs.
We can't do it without them.
No question. No question.
You mentioned Dan Campbell, David, and one quote that stuck out to me right after you signed the extension this year, Dan Campbell said, "This is a guy I wish I played with." And for me, I don't know, like, I mean, you could tell me how you reacted to it, but that like almost kind of just gave me chills hearing that.
Yeah. I mean, coming from somebody like so remarkable and Dan, I think for me to understand that, you know, of who I am and know what I'm capable of, but also knowing that someone looks at me in high value, you know, it's refreshing to be able to be somewhere when you know, like, your head coach like love the version of you and who you are, and he pulling for you to be the best version of yourself. So when I hear stuff like that, it's confirmation for me, like, I want to play for this guy until I can't play anymore.
Jahmyr, you have any good Dan Campbell memories to share?
I mean, probably almost like every practice, every walkthrough, we just start bumping each other. Like out of nowhere, it just be random. Like I'll walk by, bump him, and then he'll walk by me, he'll bump me. It's just some funny.
One of the all-time like dudes rock high vibes teams that I remember watching over the last few years. So Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, really appreciate you guys stopping by today. Thanks so much.
Yeah, appreciate you for having us.